Russia has depended on its oil and natural gas for the last 50 years. The gift to the country from God, really. Russia has been able to survive as country thanks to oil and natural gas exports. Then, in 2001, along came Putin. He and his friends have been exploiting Russia's oil and gas, enriching themselves and at the same time running the country to the ground. And in 2025, Russia's oil is coming to an end. And without oil, Russia, as we know it, will not survive. It's game over. Howdy, howdy, everyone. My name is Konstantin. Welcome to Inside Russia, where usual Russia is explained by the unusual Russian. As usual, you will not find any BS, propaganda, or lies, and you will find, as usual, truth, common sense, and logic, and emotions, because I am a human being after all. Uzbekistan is having troubles with internet. We've had troubles for 3 days. They're coming from Russia and Belarus, because that's where we're getting our internet from. So if something happens to my live stream and it cuts off, please know that it is, troubles coming out of Russia. It happened on Saturday, but, let's try it again. Let's jump to talking about oil and natural gas. Okay, having large reserves of oil and natural gas is great, isn't it? You export it to Europe and countries all over the world, and you swim in money. Literally. That was exactly what happened to Russia in the year of 2000. Is great, isn't it? Russia started swimming in money. Well, it had been exporting a lot of oil and natural gas to Europe and all over the world before, but in 2000, the global prices started rising. So it was exporting oil and gas, and it started having dollars and euro flooding the country. In 2004, for the first time, I learned that too much money coming from oil and gas, it could be a big problem. I was invited to the Harvard Club of Moscow to attend a lecture by Putin's former economic advisor, Andrei Illarionov. He was speaking of the Dutch disease, an economic phenomenon where the rapid development of one sector of the economy precipitates a decline in other sectors. The term was coined in 1977 by the leading economic publication called The Economist to describe the decline of the manufacturing sector in the Netherlands after the discovery of a large Groningen natural gas field in 1959. Andrei Larionov was warning that the fortune that was suddenly dropped onto Russia in form of huge oil and gas revenues could do its economy a very bad favor. Oil and gas would dominate the economy and everything else would be neglected. Why bother if you have so much money from oil and gas sales? You can import everything you need instead of bothering with developing manufacture industry and generally developing other sectors of the economy. There's a small developing economy called China that's becoming the factory of the world. We can import everything we need from the small and insignificant China. Remember, it's 2004 I'm talking about. On top of making Russia rich, oil and gas exports gave the country enormous leverage in geopolitical negotiations. it allowed Russia to remain on the map, on the geopolitical map, as one of world's power. Hey, Europe was importing 40% of its natural gas from Russia and a significant amount of oil. Enormous leverage for Russia. And in the following years, everything developed exactly as Andrei Illarionov warned us about on that lecture in 2004. You need to build a power plant? Let's say it's 2007, 2008, 2010, doesn't matter. You need to build a power plant? Hey, there's Gamma Group from Turkey constructing it, and Siemens from Germany or General Electric from the USA supplying the best gas turbines in the world. And it's all available instantly to you. You want cars? There's Mercedes, BMW, or Toyota. Just go to the dealership and buy. You want food? There's Gerber Foods or PepsiCo, ready to import to Russia anything you want. You just have to pay top dollars. But you have top dollars coming from oil and gas sales. And in 2025, Russia is in Dutch disease up to its throat. It produces very little, close to nothing really, and relies heavily on China, that is not such small and insignificant country and economy any longer, you know? It relies for literally everything. It cannot even produce the holy grail, sophisticated military equipment, due to the lack of component base, computer chips. And what about Russia's oil and gas revenue? Well, it has declined greatly and is about to stop soon entirely. Yes, you heard me right. To stop entirely. In 2022, Russia, or should I say Vladimir Putin, made a very stupid decision to attack Ukraine. The invasion brought multiple sanctions upon Russia, including energy sanctions. Their target has been to limit Russia's ability to finance the war. At first, Putin didn't worry too much about the sanctions, thinking Russia's energy exports were too important to the West, too big to fail, too big to be sanctioned, so to speak. They simply wouldn't be able to give up Russian oil and gas. Nevertheless, the sanctions have been deadly. They have had fatal effects on Russian oil and gas. I'll start with natural gas. It's very straightforward to understand what's happening with Russia's gas industry. Majority of Russian gas, 70%, was exported via pipelines, different pipelines, to Europe and to China. And 30% of exports were done via seaports. It's liquefied natural gas, 30%. Russia has lost its main customer, Europe, and Russian liquefied natural gas is under heavy sanctions. Russia has lost 90% of its gas exports since the start of the war. Europeans have diversified natural gas imports. Now they have shifted buying gas from Russia to other countries, including the USA, and are moving into the direction of using more green energy. That is death to Russia's natural gas exports. Russian natural gas industry has died. Now, at this point, in the beginning of 2025, it is only exporting 10% from what it used to export in not such distant past. Let's talk about oil. Before I jump to oil, I'd like to thank you, every one of you who is part of Inside Russia community. Thank you for watching my videos, for commenting them, for liking them. Thank you for sending me wonderful words in emails and messages. Thank you for praying for me and with me. And thank you for your love. Thank you for buying coffees at buymeacoffee.com, becoming Patreons, supporting via PayPal, and the crypto. Thank you so very much. I am making you a promise. Well, I make it every day. I'm making it now. I will continue no matter if I'm demonetized or monetized. I'm closing in on day 180 of being demonetized by YouTube for my stand against Russian regime and for supporting Ukraine. Don't ask me questions. I myself don't know why YouTube is doing it to me. Well, Google really, but no matter what, no matter demonetized or monetized, I will continue to speak my mind and to speak the truth. Thank you again. Now to the oil. Oil is a story a little different from natural gas in Russia. There are 5 huge problems for Russian oil. And because of these 5 problems, I am claiming that Russian oil industry is dying and Russia is going to run out of oil. This is the end of Russian oil nearing. So there are 5 problems. Direct international sanctions, lack of technology, old oil is drying up and new oil is discovered, and it's not in Russia, in other countries, Russia's competitors. And number 5, Donald Trump. There's a really perfect storm spinning above Russia's oil industry, destroying it. First, problem number 1, oil exports have been sanctioned directly by the Western countries. Whoever buys Russian oil at above the capped price, $60 per barrel, will be sanctioned in turn. Europe has forbidden to buy any Russian oil, and the tankers of Russia's shadow fleet have been sanctioned in large numbers too. No port admits them any longer. There is troubles with Russia's largest and last customers, China and India. They have stopped buying Russia's oil as well, for the most part. So this direct sanctions upon Russian oil, they're really working. Second problem, the technology for drilling, extracting, and processing oil are no longer available to Russian oil companies. As it's turned out, Russia does not possess any technology for oil industry. That's the result of the Dutch disease. Why bother researching and improving our own technology? That's expensive and it takes decades to succeed if we can contract the technology companies from Texas who come and help us drill, extract, and process our oil. Those Texans are the best in the world at drilling. So we get all that they have now instantly, instead of researching our own technologies for a long time. Hey, after all, we are swimming in oil money. That's the Dutch disease for you. The results? The Texan companies got up and left after Russia invaded Ukraine. And they took their toys along with them. And right now, Russia's stuck. They tried to buy technologies from the Chinese, but they don't have them. The Chinese don't have oil, so they have not developed their own oil drilling technologies. So that's a huge problem for Russia. Third problem is Russia's oil is not of top quality. It makes it more expensive and to extract and cheaper to sell. The oil's brand is called Urals. It is a type of crude oil that is characterized by relatively high sulfur content of 1.35% and a high density of 31.7 API degrees. It is extracted in the most part of Russia. And although Urals has a similar composition to Brent oil, that's the kind of oil that is of very high quality. So they're in similar composition. Urals is sold at a discount due to difference in its quality. Most Russian oil wells are old and overused. They were discovered, constructed, drilled in the USSR, and in Russia they've just been supporting drilling going on. So instead of oil, water comes out with a film of oil on top. To keep on getting oil from those old wells, new wells need to be drilled and more water needs to be pumped in to get more oil out. But Russians can't do any of that any longer. No technology to drill and extract. Low price to sell for international markets, high transportation costs, and no investments available in Russia. All private investors have left Russia, and Russian government, the only investor remaining, has run out of funds. Nothing to invest with. There was a conference, an oil industry event. It's held every year in Kazan, Tatarstan. Check this out. So the last one happened in late August of 2024. Some executives of oil companies were sharing the information, well, complaining really, talking to everyone, that most existing oil fields have become economically impractical, simply too expensive to operate under current circumstances. The sanctions, high taxes that Russian government has increased, very difficult, expensive logistics, and so forth. According to the executives, at the current market price of oil, that is around $70, well, $70 to $74 per barrel, and current taxes in Russia, oil companies have enough reserves to extract for 8 years. That's how much extractable oil in the entire country is left. If we're talking about Tatarstan, that's the republic, oil producing republic, only 6 years, because they have oil fields of less quality, lower quality. Now, this is something new to me. I thought that Russia has this enormous reserves of oil. It does. But only oil is of very low quality, and that oil can be extracted and sold at profit. There's very little left. So that's at $70 per barrel. We're talking about 8 years, and that's it. And if market prices drop to $50 per barrel, that is very possible in the future. There's enough oil to extract for only 5 years, perhaps even less. And after, there will be oil left that will be economically impractical to extract, simply too expensive. That is, I think, is a huge risk for Russia. It's not even a risk. It's a real situation that is happening, and it's a disaster. The fourth problem is new oil reserves have been discovered in other countries, and they keep on discovering them. They have been quite a few, and I'm just gonna give you three, the richest ones. That's Guyana, not too far from the USA, with easy access to the seaports, and one of the best paying customers, the USA, right next to it in the north. Kazakhstan and Angola, just to name you the few. Plenty of high quality oil, new oil wells, access to latest drilling, extracting technologies, and investments, and proximity to potential clients. cheap transportation. All of that dictate increased supply and lower prices. Another blow to Russia's oil industry. And the fifth problem, well, that very well could be the last nail in the coffin of Russia's oil. It's very unexpected for me, unusual, but that's new American president, Donald J. Trump. In his first term, he was working on making the Middle East a more stable place. He was bringing Israel and the Arab countries closer to each other, or at least he was trying. Israel was on the verge of signing a peace treaty with Saudi Arabia in late 2023, and then we know what happens. What happened on October 7th. It was attacked by Hamas. I think it's safe to say that Donald Trump will continue his Middle Eastern efforts, and it's been out there in public already. That, if that happens, that will drop oil prices even in the future even more. Trump has started to speak of bringing oil prices down already. Look at what happened a couple days ago, and it's public information.
Reported today in the papers that Saudi Arabia will be investing at least $600 billion in America, but I'll be asking the Crown Prince, who's a fantastic guy, to round it out to around $1 trillion. I think they'll do that because we've been very good to them. And I'm also going to ask Saudi Arabia and OPEC to bring down the cost of oil. You got to bring it down, which frankly, I'm surprised they didn't do before the election. That didn't show a lot of love by them not doing it. I was a little surprised by that. If the price came down, the Russia-Ukraine war would end immediately. Right now, the price is high enough that that war will continue. You got to bring down the oil price. You got to end that war.
Wow. That is a very unusual speech for Russian authorities because they were hoping to hear completely opposite thing from Trump. And I warned a lot of people in Russia that Donald Trump is not really their friend. I don't see why would he. But, you know, Russians, they have their own, a very unique outlook to the world. They think there's a lot of enemies, they're surrounded by enemies. They think that everyone wants to somehow a piece of Russia to destroy its sovereignty, and they think that Donald Trump is the best friend of Russia and so forth. Well, here you have it. I am saying that there is a perfect storm has been above Russia's oil and natural gas industry. The news come out every day now, and there will be plenty of news coming out of Russia in the demise of oil industry. If you want to stay on top of them, become patron of Inside Russia. I select 9 news every day, the news that I find important, analyze them, comment, and make available to patrons of Inside Russia. So if you wondered where is the best source of news that matter, look no further. You will find them at Inside Russia's Patreon account. The link is down below in the description, and I'll put it in the pinned comment after this live stream ends. Check it out down below. Russia's problem is that energy is no longer a commodity, but it has rather become a cornerstone of national security for the leading countries in the world, in the West. And thanks to Russia, by the way. By attacking Ukraine in 2022, Russia has helped to reshape the old oil world. It started a revolution. It destroyed all old links and connections. Well, basically, it started great reformatting of the oil world. That's how I call it. Amazingly enough, this great reformatting hasn't been into Russia's favor, okay? And it was very obvious, but Putin started that war, anyway. Every geopolitical shift creates winners and losers. Russia, for a long time, had an upper hand in geopolitics, using its oil and gas as a geopolitical weapon. But not any longer. And besides oil and gas, Russia simply has nothing to replace it with, nothing else to offer the others, courtesy of Vladimir Putin and his friends, who have destroyed the existing status quo. Russia is a clear loser now. And that is just in the international politics. It gets worse inside Russia. Oil industry decline will be a tremendous blow to the economy. Oil and gas amounted to 50% of all revenues of Russia's federal budget, and Russia depends on the federal budget for its operating. Oil is ceasing to be Russia's bread maker as we speak. Every single day, Putin's power rests on his ability to find his way out of any problem by providing one solution: flooding the problem with the money. I can give you countless examples. Everything in Russia is either oppressed by siloviki or flooded with money. Putin buys people out of anything. Money is Putin's magic trick. Russia's oil has been giving him such opportunity. That's what was bringing him money. Now, among other problems, he is facing the money that he had before has run dry, and oil is also running dry. My forecast is Putin will not survive Russian oil collapse. The sad thing is, neither will the country called Russia. Putin is taking Russia along with him to wherever he's going. Friends, that's been my message. Thank you for giving me a chance. Thank you for listening. I invite to join me to the live stream chat that I'm going to turn on right now, where I will try to answer all the questions that you throw at me. Please let me know what do you think of today's message. If you found it interesting, educational, I'd love to know. And we will end this live stream with a prayer, so please stay until the end. Thank you. This is my most favorite moment of any stream, when I turn on the live stream chat and I see the screen explodes with people, real people. Because it's one thing sitting in front of the camera and speaking to the camera, and that's another thing knowing, reading the emotions, reading the questions, reading the comments of real people who are right now in the chat room. So thank you so very much for coming. I usually used to take breaks quite often and have sips of wonderful English breakfast tea, but too many people complain that it's too loud for them, so I try to do that less often. If you're here for the first time, and we just had about 5,300 people, which is amazing. It's like a small stadium. So if you're here for the first time, please know that Inside Russia is a wonderful community, very friendly, very pleasant, and it has the best moderation team in the world. It's the moderators of Inside Russia who have made this community pleasant, nice, and simply a great place to be a part of. They are Lorna, Mami K, Bob S, Harry Potnan, Amir Fazat, and Dirk. Friends, thank you for coming. Usual suspects, thank you. I see some of the faces coming here for 3 or 4 years. So it's fantastic to see you've become like my virtual family. Thank you so very much. Before I start, I want to tell you that so far I'm not seeing any buffering happening, and thank goodness, because I was very concerned. We had real bad day on Saturday. It's not just YouTube didn't work. Nothing, including my telephone. The connection was cut off like every few minutes or so. Anyway, things seem to be getting better now, so thank goodness. Friends, if you want me to see your message easier and respond to it faster, please put it in all caps and put Inside Russia after @ so it's highlighted in a large orange box. I see it much easier that way. Thank you so much. Just like Leitmotiv for me did. Thank you. And Terry, George Rames, John McLean, good to see you. I hope that your dieting is going well and exercising. We keep on praying for you. Kermo, Angel Economics, howdy. Whoa, we have Angel Economics. Fantastic. Welcome. This is the first time I see this name, this person. Welcome. I'm an economist, economist by trade, so I love talking about the Russian economy. I love talking about what is happening economic wise. So please welcome, join us. What do you think of my message? Bob, Lorna, Mami, Paul, Sam the Legend K, howdy. Remy Leon, hello. Richard Head from Kansas. Gato. Zigomote from Romania. Thank you so much for coming. Fantastic. Every time I see someone from former Eastern Europe, from Poland, Romania, Hungary, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, Bulgaria, Czech Republic, Slovakia, it warms my heart. Definitely from Poland. Thank you, friends. Thank you for coming and giving me a chance. Daniel McInnes. Whoa, Daniel, so fantastic to see you. The best questions of Inside Russia. Welcome back, Daniel. Long time no see. Lucas, good evening. Warrior from Croatia, Horvatia. Hello, friend. Greetings. Dirk, good to see you. Hope all is well. Bob. I think I'm addicted. I'm addicted to the live streaming and doing YouTube in general. I do it every day, and I missed a couple of days. Saturday we did a live stream for patrons of Inside Russia. That's what we do every Saturday. And I tried. It was cut short. I tried to do an upload on Sunday. I couldn't do that. And today I feel like I've missed so much. And it feels real good to be back in front of a camera, in front of a computer, and not really in front of camera and computer. It's being in front of people, in front of you. So thank you so much. This is an intoxicating feeling, really. Thank you. Oh, by the way, if I miss your question, it's not, I don't answer it. It's not because I don't want to answer. It's just because I don't see it. It's just a very dynamic chat. It moves very fast. So if you want me to notice your question or comment, please keep on posting it until I notice it. Aaronka, Keith from Hawaii, Paula McDonald. Awesome to have you, friends. Thank you for coming. Roman Beck. No chat. I just received an email from Goran. Another message with no chat window. If you're not seeing the chat window, please hit the refresh button and reload your page, and your chat should just appear. Thomas K, howdy. But we won't let you drink your tea. Well, just gonna have a sip. Wow, it's good. English people, thank you so much for your tea. The best tea in the world, what can I say? Richard Head, how's everyone doing today? Thank you, Richard, for showing up from the USA. Lovely day in Vermont for sipping coffee. Oh, so Angel Economics, you're from Vermont. Well, I spent 9 years in Maine, which is not too far, kind of the same idea in southern Maine. And I loved snowy, cold days when you just get out and have breakfast or just go out at daytime or evening, have a coffee, sit at the local cafe in a small town when everyone knows everyone, you know. I miss it so much. That was great. Steven Amodio, doesn't Russia have technology? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I emphasized it's very important. Russia does not have technology. Well, it possessed some low-tech stuff, but when it came to advanced, high-tech equipment, techniques, always came from the USA. The USA is number one, especially Texas. That's Russia for you. They tried and they went to China and asked the Chinese. The Chinese don't have it themselves because they don't have oil. They don't drill much oil. And the Chinese tried to go to the Texans and buy it for Russians, but the Texans, well, from what I understand, they gave the Chinese one of the fingers. You know, I'm not gonna tell or show you here. I don't want to be rude, but I think you get the idea. Dennis Heike from Sweden, howdy howdy. There are so many people from Sweden and Norway, I should start learning how to say hello in Swedish, Finnish in Norwegian. Steven Sane, thank you so much for good words. Well, what can I say? I will continue. Sometimes it's really difficult for me physically because, you know, I work 7 days a week. Recently, my friend Manus McLean from Philadelphia visited us here in Tashkent. He saw me. He saw how my days go. Okay, and they're packed with events. They're packed with things to do. And YouTube takes a great deal of my time every day, and I do other things besides YouTube. You know, I try to help people here, both Russian and Ukrainians. Russians and Ukrainians as much as I can, and it also takes time, you know, takes energy. So the only time I don't stream when I physically can't do that, and sometimes it happens, or something happens technically, you know, like on Saturday, my internet was cut short. A couple times we had power outages, so I couldn't stream because there was no electricity. Couple times, one time someone was flooding me from above. I had to cancel the stream. Quite a few times I would run to the airport to meet people. These things, you know, but every time that I can, which is most of days, I actually do live streaming and videos. So thank you, Stephen. John McLean made pelmeni from scratch last night, and it was delicious. Well, good to hear. I love pelmeni myself. My wife's mom, my mother-in-law, used to make them from scratch, and they were just, best in the world. The best of the best. Jacqueline Perks, thank you so much for your good words. Palvia Flex, besides oil and gas, you forgot Russian coal mine that are having a hard time because of sanctions. Uh, Look, friend, I have not forgotten that. It's right here, it's on top of my memory. Russian oil and natural gas are collapsing, but the coal industry has already collapsed. The coal companies are closing down. There's a huge problem. People are protesting because they have not been paid for months. I have not forgotten about it. It's just this live stream is about oil and gas. There will be another one about coal industry and metals. That is in trouble as well. I have interesting news coming from a company called Norilsky Nickel, the largest nickel manufacturer in the world. I have an inside there, and troubles. They have ordered a very expensive, and they ordered a very deep market research, and it had to be done very fast. Okay, they paid top dollar for it because they're trying to figure out what to do in 2025. There are thoughts of moving the production to China, but they're in panic because markets are falling down. The sanctions are getting stronger. They cannot get dollars from abroad any longer, and all this not so wonderful things. So trust me, I have not forgotten about that. It's right here. It's just this live stream about oil and gas. But thanks for bringing it up. Daniel McInnes, I have some financial challenges that will be resolved this week. Will become patron and buy you coffee when I can. Thank you for all you do. Daniel, let me tell you something. Thank you so much. You have been such a fantastic part of Inside Russia since, I don't know, since the beginning, since 4 years ago. If you run into financial challenges, I will buy you a coffee anytime you need support. Okay, you just let me know. So thank you so much. Coffee or not coffee, please come, and you're always welcome here. Andrew from South Africa, howdy. Syntax error, I like the name. You've talked about how Russia can't really make oil and gas turbines. Are they able to replace any taken out by drone strikes? No. They cannot replace them. Now, it's a good question. Imagine this perfect world scenario, this piece, okay? Siemens is in Moscow, in the center of Moscow, having a huge office. I've been there so many times. General Electric is operating its own turbine manufacturing plant, building the second plant. My company was chosen to do the engineering design for the second plant. We signed a contract in December, last days of December 2021, and everyone, we celebrated. We said, okay, you know what? It's a huge, big contract. We're set for a couple years from now. Okay, and our salespeople were absolutely ecstatic because they were about to cash in large bonuses. And then 8 weeks later, the war started. Okay, and obviously, General Electric left, and its manufacturing plant was kind of stolen from General Electric. But anyway, that's a different story. Imagine this perfect world scenario. Russia is peaceful, and something happens. Let's say there's an accident. Not a drone strike, but some kind of an accident, and turbine blows up. You know, it's really, really difficult to replace the turbine. It's a large project. If it's a small explosion or whatever, and you don't need to uninstall the turbine, that's one thing. But still, manufacturing of gas turbines is a very serious project. There is, how do I say that? That's a schedule for years ahead, okay? These large companies produce hundreds of turbines, but they don't produce them just to keep at the factories, at the warehouses. Each turbine is sold to a customer, and then constructed, manufactured from scratch. Okay, so imagine you go to Siemens and say, we need this turbine or this part of turbine, right away. And it's like, well, I'm sorry, but there's a line, stand in line. But we had an accident. Well, if we move someone, push someone, then our schedule just goes to hell. So it's really difficult. It's possible, but you really have to work around it. It's difficult in normal times. Right now, it's very, very difficult. Okay, it's still possible, but it's gonna take a very long time. And to be honest with you, I don't even know how they're going to replace Siemens parts or GE parts, because in order to get new parts, you have to go to a factory and explain which turbine the parts go to. And then there's like, not the Russia, definitely not gonna. They're not going to manufacture anything for the Russian customers. So, sorry, it's been a very long, complicated answer. In short, they will be able to replace the turbines taken out. So far, I know only one that's been damaged. So they will be able to do that, but it's going to take a very long time, and it's going to cost so much money. Janice Burgess, good morning from Chile, Reno. Well, Florida is Chile, Reno is Chile. What the hell is going on? Dave Williams from Sparkle City. I hope Sparkle City is not Chile. I don't like Chile. I like warm, nice, sunny. I like palm trees. I like wearing t-shirt in the winter. Well, in the summer, anytime. Sam, thank you. Aaron Boyd, how about Japan and Russia beef? What would you like to know? I simply don't know what to answer when you ask me, how about this? What about it? There is beef. Pasi Turpinen. Best greetings and energy to you from Finland. Sending my love to Finland, one of the countries that I love. I love the Finnish. I worked with the Finnish. I worked for a joint venture company for made in Finland. Sweco. It's called Sweco. Hopefully do not see the buffer and monster today. Terry, you know what? This is a relief, because I was really afraid to see the buffer and monster. We're not seeing it, so that's great. RW, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for the emails. Thank you. I've talked a little earlier about there's no buffering today, so it looks like business as usual. You know what I'm talking about. There is no need to look into that, at least for now, Leitmotif for me are diamonds, minerals, and rare earth still being exported. Yes, it is still being exported, but nothing comes close to oil and natural gas revenues. Diamonds are heavily sanctioned. I have not looked into diamond industry. Minerals are still being exported, and rare earth metals are still being exported, but trust me, it's peanuts compared to oil and gas. Oil and gas up to 50% of the federal budget revenue, the profits in the rich years, in the good years, in the peaceful years. So I would say leitmotif, I would say that these things, diamonds, minerals, rare earth minerals, they're negligible. Yeah, they still amount to some, I think up to 7% of the revenue, but that's it. Another problem with these things is that diamonds are falling in demand, and Russia is not the only one country producing diamonds. South Africa is diamond rich. Mineral and rare earth metals, they can be found all over the world. It's not oil, it's not natural gas. Aluminum industry is in deep trouble because in Indonesia they are opening new aluminum smelters and have lots of alumina. That's the mineral that you make aluminum from. And that's a competition to Russia. So even in peaceful time, Russia would be having problems right now with its aluminum. Now, since of the sanctions are in place, trouble, trouble, trouble. I'm telling you, Russia is not in a good spot, not in a good shape. Daniel, Lucas, thank you again. M. Alfredson, drink how much do you want? It's your show that we all love and learn from. I'm gonna take a sip. Thank you. Today, I tried to limit, and I really would feel comfortable sipping more because my throat gets dry when I speak too much. Wyatt Logan, no, you are awesome. Thank you so much. You awesome and you rock. Samsa is in the gym, which is pretty darn good. So how are we doing on time? 15 minutes to go. Gary the golfer, welcome. All the brains have left. If you're talking about Russia, I could not agree with you more. ID QD. Will you move back to Russia once Putin is gone? I am not planning on doing that. I am very angry at Russia. I am very angry at the Russians. They have betrayed me. The country chewed me up and spat me out. When you have to leave your country in 36 hours, otherwise you'll be dead. So it's like being forced out of the country. And then you don't know where to go. You're just trying to get out of your country and end your life there. You end not by your will, but by your country is kicking you out, basically. And people who are left in the country, they're also not very fond of you leaving and all of that. And they tell you, well, you should go and fight in Ukraine instead. Why are you leaving? Why are you betraying your country and so forth? Trust me, you have a backpack, a luggage in your hand, and you trying to cross a border between Tajikistan and Uzbekistan, and then you just walk in there in a desert along with like hundreds of other Russian men, and you have like tears in your eyes. That's I would say it's a vaccine against going back to Russia. So no plans. Ted Brooks, great to see you looking and being so happy and less stressed. Please watch that. Aussie Ted. Thank you, Ted. Thank you. Sending my love to Down Under. Terry, but Russia must have many smart people to develop technology. Does it? I see lots of smart people around me. They come to have breakfasts every morning. Manus, I visited us. He saw plenty of smart people who could develop technologies, but they're not in Russia any longer. Anyway, good question. But first of all, a lot of smart Russians have left 3 million of them. And second is, Russia does not have market economy aimed at developing technologies. Russia is about power. Russia is about the vertical of power. You get a job working for the government, and that job comes with you must be obedient, taking orders from above, not thinking about them, just executing them. In return, you are given power to enrich yourself, to steal. No one's gonna touch you for that. Everyone steals in Russia who works for the government, okay? And that is the trade-off. Who needs technology? Who needs to develop technology? If you see some company that is promising, young, consists of engineers and starts making money, and you are like a KGB person in Rostov or state prosecutor, the first thought is, I want it. Who owns it? I'm gonna take it. And you put the owner into prison and take his company. And, it starts, or sell it to somebody else. Or take a bribe for not stealing it from a person, Things like that. That's what Russia is about. So I don't see anyone developing these technologies except for if government orders it. But then it orders and it finances it. This money will be stolen along the way, Peter Sandler, what do you think would happen if the Russian front line suddenly broke? Do you think this could happen? I'm not sure what you mean by suddenly broke. What the Ukrainians would be pushing towards Russia or the Russians towards deeper into Ukraine? Please specify. Ron, Constant, did you hear that China dropped open source AI for free? No, I have not heard that. I've concentrated on Russian economy. By the way, tomorrow will be a stream about Russian economy. It's going to be a very interesting one. Everyone and Angel Economist, please come back tomorrow at the usual time. I think you're going to like it. Roll Vinyls from Canada, Toronto, Canada. Howdy, howdy. I bet it's a little chilly in Canada right now. Well, particularly in Toronto. I lived 7-hour drive from Toronto in Maine, so I know. James Ash, thank you so much for good words. Barbara Piazza Georgie. How much oil and gas exports and import of foreign technology is happening under the radar and not showing up in the statistics? It's really hard to say, especially about gas. Well, there's not much. Gas exports, natural gas exports, cannot happen under the radar because natural gas is supplied through the pipelines. And there is finite amount of pipelines. There are not too many of them, okay? Uringoi, Pomare, Uzhgorod, Nord Stream 2, South Stream, not too many, what you call that? The one going to China, Sila Sibiri. So I would say there's close to zero of shadow exports of natural gas. And oil is a different story. There is quite a bit of oil trade, shadow trade is going on, and they're smuggling oil out of Russia, so to speak. But not anywhere in the amounts that Russia used to export in the previous years. A very good example of it is, a couple of days ago, there's a news came out from Russia saying that Russia had a record year of oil exports in 2024. And the amount was given something like 22 trillion rubles or something like that. I forgot, 10 trillion. And I was thinking of that. I literally could not sleep at night because how is this possible? Russia is having, I've told you about 5 reasons of 5 problems that Russia is having. Those problems combined form a perfect storm. And how is this possible that Russia is exporting record amounts of oil? I just got it. Russian ruble, they're given not by the amount of barrels, not by the number of barrels exported out of Russia, but the amount of rubles taken in. And the exchange rate in 2022 was 50 rubles per dollar. And now it's over 100 rubles per dollar. Well, it was a couple days ago. So even if they show the same amount of exports of oil as in 2022, in dollar amount, it's twice as little. So it's been cut by half. Okay? That's 1/4 of Russian budget, by the way. So there's a lot of exports going on, but the shadow fleet is being targeted, and the Americans mostly are tightening the rope against Russia's neck. Okay, they're making it more and more difficult to export oil out of Russia. And just like 5 reasons I told you, Russia is running out of oil physically. The prices are dropping. The technology is not there. The extraction is dropping in numbers. Russia extracts that's the official data, 1 million barrels less than it was before 2022, so things like that. That's a huge blow to the industry. Foreign technology, not too much. You can import, let's say, computer chips, semiconductors, and use them in production of drones and things like that. But you cannot shadow import equipment for creating chips. You can't do that. Every time, very few companies in the West are supplying Russia with actually means of production. Large machines, metal working machines, and so forth. There were a few companies in Germany in 23, but they were caught and prosecuted, from what I understand. So, not too many. Shareleaf, I thought Siberia was still full of oil. Am I incorrect? I guess. Awesome stream. Thank you so much for the good words. Well, you are correct in a way. Siberia is full of oil. Just look at the map. It's just majority of the oil has not been discovered yet, and it's really hard to discover due to the sheer amount of land in Russia. Okay, the USSR had a huge system of geological reconnaissance, they called it. There were like thousands and thousands, perhaps hundreds of thousands of people involved in just going around and looking for mineral resources. That stopped in Russia, okay? So they've been using up all those oil wells drilled in the USSR, pumping oil from there, making money, squeezing every single buck out of, because that's how Russia works. They don't want to invest anything. They just want to enrich themselves because it's a state-owned company, but Putin's friends are enriching themselves, okay? Why would they spend money on looking for more oil, things like that? So Siberia is full of oil, but it hasn't been discovered. And I think by the time they discover it, oil is not going to be needed any longer. And the second problem is still there's a lot of oil, but it's of low quality. And it doesn't make any economical sense to sell it. It costs more to extract and process than you sell it for. Okay? And that very little oil of high quality left. That's what my point was. James Montgomery, hello from Alabama, USA. Sending my love to Alabama. I hope you don't have snow. I hope it's not too cold. Dave William, do you play chess, Constantine? I do, and Michael, my 8-year-old, also plays chess. He is playing for the 2nd year, and we play together quite often. I used to force him to play with me, push him. Now he pushes me to play with him. He's getting good. So I do. Good game. Harvey Sutcliffe, new jet UK is going to get is more intelligent than the pilot. Tempest. Okay, thank you for letting me know. Kenneth Hansen from Denmark. Howdy, good to see you. Meek Post or Mike Post. What is Russia's biggest export besides of oil and weapons? Weapons is not the export anymore because from export is a very of weapons is a very closed industry. Okay, I know very little of it. I just know that was large before the war. Now the major buyers of Russian weapons systems, India, China. I think India number one. They're dropping Russia's contracts because they're seeing that Russia's weapons, they don't stand a chance against the European weapons, American weapons. I think that Russia's exports of weapons are nearing zero right now. And it was never a large part of for federal budget, a large contributor. So what's the biggest export? The biggest were really oil and natural gas. That's why I'm making this point that Russia's oil is collapsing, and that's going to bring Russia down. The metals, sales of steel, aluminum, gold. No, I'm not sure. Gold is not that huge of an export. Steel and aluminum, I know for sure. Wheat, of course, agricultural products. Russia used to be the breadbasket of, well, I can't say the world, but definitely Europe. Turkey and China, that's for sure. That's it. Terry Carter from Pulaski, Virginia. Howdy. Recent report says small earthquake just off Maine. Are you referring to the one finger salute? Well, I think I know what you mean. Yes, I did. When the Chinese inquired to buy some equipment, technological equipment, for themselves, but they meant for Russians to resell it to Russians. I think that the Texans gave them one finger salute. Equarg, I heard a proposal to make gas 45, 46 a barrel. Would that collapse the Russian economy? Very fast. That would collapse Russian economy very fast. RW, what happened? Chris Fox from Lincolnshire. Howdy. All right, looks like we're running out of time. Thank you so much. Hey, by the way, thank you for liking this video. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thor, you're very mistaken, comrade. I wish I had a little bit of time to look at what the mistake is about. Andreas Benz, howdy. Ron Gravel, hello. Denis Arzubiaga. That's a good one. Thor, your post a year ago shouted Russian regime is imploding. 1 year ago, maybe 5 years from now, your post will come through long after Ukraine is a part of Ruski. Well, this is going to be the last question I'll answer. It's not even a question, it's a statement. I believe that Russia is changing the three major changes that are taking place in Russia. First change is economical change, the economy. Second change is the influence of Russia in the world, geopolitical change. And third is Russian society, people. People is what's most important. Russian people have changed a lot. Not in a good way. And I probably should stream more about that. So I definitely have seen the degradation of the Russians. Russian image in the world has shattered. Putin has been dealt a few blows in Syria, with Turkey by the Turkish, in Iran. Russia is becoming a regional player. Used to be a global player. It has become a regional player. Okay? And it is certainly an imploding. It's a collapse. And number three is the economy. Holy moly, where do even I start about the economy? Russian economy is in such a worse state. I'm going to be talking about it tomorrow. So please tune in to learn more. It's in a horrible state. It's not imploding. It has imploded already. Okay. The regime change, I don't know whether it's going to be one soon or not. But let me tell you something. Russia has changed, and inside Russia, and people, and the economy, and their lives, and the regime, this vertical of power, has already imploded a great deal. You can't just snap your finger like that and expect Russia to disappear from the face of the earth. That's not going to happen. But by imploding, I mean the changes that are being made right now, the foundation for the new country is being set up, and that scares me. So if I had a choice to say 1 year ago the same thing, Russia is imploding, Russian regime, I'd do that. I'd say that all over again. All right, friends. Let me invite everyone to pray along with me. If you're religious, please pray. If you are not religious, please pray with us anyway. You can call it what we do in any way you like. Asking universe, sending people good vibes, good wishes, good energy. That's what we do anyway. We call it praying. You can call it anything you want. So please ask for something good from God, from universe, from whatever you call this, the Almighty. Thank you. Shall we begin? Dear Lord Jesus Christ, thank you so much for giving us this day. Thank you for the food that you've placed on our tables. Thank you for the roofs you've given over our heads. Thank you for our families, our children, parents, grandparents. Thank you for the loved ones that surround us. Thank you for our children. Please give us wisdom to keep the skies above our children's heads peaceful and safe. Give us wisdom to raise our children in a way that when they grow up, they will never participate in any wars, and will just love each other, be friends with each other. For now, please keep our children safe and healthy. Dear Lord, I am asking for Ukraine. Please help the country, stop the bloodshed, help every Ukrainian who has been affected by this terrible tragedy. Answer their prayers, make their wishes come true. Reach out and touch the hearts of those who are responsible and capable of making this decision to stop the bloodshed. Remind them that they're still human beings and there's still some love in their hearts. So they wake up from their lethargic sleep and make the decision to stop the war. Please help my country, Russia. Assemble your army of the strongest angels with sharpest swords, led by Saint Michael in shining armor, and send them to this earth to get rid of the demons who have hijacked my country, who we know by their names and by their faces. Please send your strongest angels to help Russian people to run their country, to make it peaceful, loving, and respecting. Dear Lord, please help everyone who is traveling, send them safe travels. Help everyone who is in danger of any kind and dire straits, send safety. Help anyone who is crying, hurting. Please send your angels to help. Also help anyone who is seeking for asylum of any kind, running from evil. Help those who are helping Ukrainians, and help Ukrainians who are under threat of Russian attacks or under Russian attacks. Please send everyone safety. Please help single mothers and fathers who are struggling, raising their children, trying to make ends meet. Help everyone who needs your help, the homeless, the jobless, the sick, the cold, the addicted, the betrayed, the depressed, the ones losing their faith, the ones who are hurting and crying, the ones who are feeling abandoned and lonely. Please reach out to every person in need and touch their hearts, fill them with love and warmth. Let them know, let everyone know that you are still with them. You have not left them. You still love them. You still watch every step they take and every move that they make. Please help everyone in need. Dear Lord, thank you for everyone who is praying along with me right now or simply watching us pray. Thank you for allowing us to come together and pray in this community, with this community. Please answer everyone's prayer who is praying right now and make the wish come true. I would like to ask for a few people who need your help. They are Ron Bazoid, who is in the hospital right now, Sandra Workman, Teresa D, and her family, and her grandchildren. Please send angels, send help, send relief. Please help Ann Larson and her daughter Hannah, Jeffrey S. and his family, Katharina Holm, Sabrina, Alex, Mark, Hank's sister, who is in Sloan Hospital right now, Tom W., J.R. McKim, Gabing with Gary, Lisa, Harry and his family, Terry, John McLean, Linda, Paula W., Dennis, Jason, Susie Mailer, Tim, Dory, Rhonda McGillis, John, Taylor, Wayne, Dave, Don, Darla, George, Ruberty, Pamela, Meta, David Porter, his family, and everyone who is in Ukraine and Chernovtsi right now, Leif, Randolph, Grace, Dean Spooner and his church, Yelena, Natasha, Michael, Jake, Oля, Dasha, Sky, Svetlana, Sergey, Liz, Sergey, Ron, Liz Dumbrell, Koshkin Dom, Sandra, Mike and Mike, Petra Olson, Joseph, Melissa, Jodes, Millie, Philip, Eileen, Highwayman, Victor, Pamela, Denise Abbott, Galaxy Rider, Renata, Janice Burgess, and Derek Martinez. Thank you so much, dear Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Friends, before I sign off, I would like to remind you that you're absolutely awesome and you rock. Thank you for coming. It's been a fantastic time meeting you. Thank you. Please come back tomorrow for a live stream where I will discuss Russian economy. I'll try to answer as many questions as I can. Thank you so much. And as usual, before I sign off, I would like to ask everyone to say out loud with me, as loud as you can, Carthago delenda est.